Hello, hello. How's it going, everybody? My name's Crazy 8 the Ace here, as commentator for these two great Luigi Mansion runners. We have on the left A2Rhombus, and on the right ClearlyAzul. Their PBs are actually pretty similar to each other. I believe A2Rhombus has a 100.29, and ClearlyAzul has a 101.49. So this could be a pretty close match. And so hopefully we'll see some pretty exciting plays going on here. We also see Rhombus here has 100 completed files, which is pretty insane. So let's see here. It looks like both runners are on the Japanese version, actually. So oh, they're actually starting right now. So in this category, we are going to use the Hidden Mansion. So we'll see some menuing here. So they choose the second option. That takes them to the Hidden Mansion. And the Hidden Mansion is not too different. The vacuum is only 2 times stronger. And in the Japanese version, that's it. In English, it's 2 times stronger and you take double damage. And in the PAL version or the European version, you have a completely different kind of floor layout. So we have actually a separate category for that. Japanese overall saves is actually a little faster than English, so it saves about 25 seconds, or I believe 25 or 35 seconds overall through either text boxes or exclusive text skips that we'll see later on in the game. Alright, so they're just going through Parlor here, nothing too special, just a few gold ghosts. You just clear the room and you collect the key. Pretty cool stuff. They got pretty decent parlors. Then they're going on to Anteroom, which is probably the hardest room in Area 1 because of the 2 doubles that we're going to see coming up. And the way to really optimize Area 1 is simply to just take doubles very wide. So we'll see in a minute what a double is. So ClearlyAzul, he did a double like that. So did A2Rhombus just now. To make it just 2 ghosts at once, and you really want to just get them wide to save milliseconds or seconds. And that's basically the difference in Area 1. That's basically it. But if you do that the entire time in the run, it saves a lot. So this one here is a little special. These green garbage can ghosts, they don't have a hitbox that will hurt you. You can just push them around. And so, you know, we just push them over to the gold ghosts in order to get a quick double. Okay, so it looks like both these players had really good Area 1s so far. After this, it's kind of downhill. You just have to work on really good suck-ups. Alright, so EGAD here is talking to us about seeing a portrait ghost. And portrait ghosts have a strange gimmick where they'll only show their heart if you solve a certain puzzle. With this guy, you just look away from him. Ooh, ClearlyAzul is going for a top strat, and Rhombus is going for a bottom strat. They don't really differ too much, honestly. Probably like a second or two. But it's really just what's more comfortable for you to suck up these guys. And all portrait ghosts do have 100 health. So it is important to get really good pumps, which is where you just pump the joystick from neutral to back and to the opposite direction they're pulling. Rhombus having a little trouble with Lydia, but it's definitely nothing to be worried about. Unfortunately, neither runner has low percent, which is where you just don't have money, and that will save a second in cutscenes, because then it'll just skip like this small little animation or this like money countdown. But yeah, it's hard to get a low percent in Area 1. All right, so here they're coming up to the first area boss. And this area boss, Chauncey, you just gotta suck up the rocking horse, or just make it rock back and forth. He'll show up, then you hit him in the face with the with this like play ball. It's really just just a bouncy ball, honestly, but there's a little joke running around where we just call it beach ball now. But yeah, now we're in this. He just takes us to his crib. This great crib, very comfortable, and then he tries to hit us with his toys. And that's basically the Area 1 boss. We're actually fighting a baby. So you see, what they're doing is they just go back and forth to dodge the horses as quickly as possible, and then they actually line themselves up for a ball catch. So the way to get him to show his heart is you hit him with the same ball that you hit him before, and what that does just shows his heart, and he'll throw multiple of them, many of them, but only one will stay on the arena to use. And so we just catch that instantly in the air to save a lot of time. The difference could be like up to 5 seconds. In an Area 1, that's a lot. Oh, and what we're seeing on ClearlyAzul's screen is that we actually do take damage on purpose to get invincibility frames in order to catch the second ball instantly. And A2Rhombus actually got a much faster catch. Alright, both runners getting fantastic Area 1s. I believe they are only about 3 seconds apart. I would switch over to Azul's audio. Unfortunately, we are having slight difficulties, so we're not getting Azul's audio. So we'll just have to rely on Rhombus. Alright, so after completing an area, we go through this cutscene. It's a very nice downtime, because after all this, if we get a great Area 1, we're like, alright, we gotta run, we gotta relax a little bit, just take care of the next area, where things get real. And so it's just nice some downtime. We get to see the portrait ghosts that we defeated beforehand. And yep, we just put them in our gallery, and there's the money countdown, which we would skip if we had low percent, but unfortunately neither runner does, so they have to just spam B. Alright, so both runners are about 5 seconds apart, very close race. You see them walking weirdly down these hallways. They're pointing their flashlight up, and they're trying to like spin Luigi around or make him look in one direction only. And that's to avoid getting scared. Every time Luigi's... Ooh! Oh no. Oh! Oh no. Okay, so every time you're scared, you lose about a second. And while I was explaining that, we see that both runners actually do miss the bathroom double. So you can set up a double here. And I personally am notorious for missing it. And it turns out that these guys did miss it, unfortunately. That does lose about 6 seconds, or depending on if you took any health. Oh, and Azul is exiting the ballroom. I guess he just doesn't like that room. Alright, so ballroom is probably everyone's least favorite room, and it's also one of the hardest, because we have to do a series of doubles, these Shy Guy doubles, and they're notoriously, they're deceptively hard, honestly. It doesn't look like they would be that hard. But they move around the room, they'll hit you with their spears. That loses a lot of time. You can suck off one doubles mask too early, and then you'll have to wait for the other to respawn. And then you have what we call early release. And let's see if anyone gets it. Azul does not, and neither does Rhombus. Neither get early release. So these guys, if you stand on the rotating platform, they'll show their heart, but they'll show it randomly, or sort of randomly. There are 2 points where they can show it. One is 10 seconds shorter than the other. So if you get it, it's a 10-second time save, but if you don't get it, you just have to go on. You lose 10 seconds. And it's completely RNG. We haven't found a way to try to manipulate it at all, and it's really just, it's more annoying than anything. And if you don't get it for a very long period of time, it just really makes someone angry. I mean, I've gotten angry about it. Like, everyone's gotten angry about it. Okay, so they just cleared storage, and in storage there's this cool trick called poster skip. As you saw, they were vacuuming through the wall after they sucked up the purple puncher, and they sucked off a poster on the other side of the room, and that saves about 3 seconds if you do it right. And that poster was covering up this button, which, oh, it releases a bunch of boos into the frickin' mansion, man. So now we are required to go on a boo hunt. Everyone's favorite game, hide and seek, but instead of being fun, it's unfun. The run from now on is pretty not reliant on RNG, but it can be very heavily impacted by RNG. We'll get to see our very first instance of Boo RNG right as we start up back into the game. So Egad takes us back to his lab to yell at us or something. And then we immediately go to Parlor to catch our first Boo, because we need 5 to progress through the rest of the mansion. And so there's something in here we call Parlor Boo Tech Skip, where you can suck off this cloth partially and then find the Boo. And if the Boo is not under the cloth, you can set it up. As you can see, ClearlyAzul does get it. So what happens is if you suck up the Boo, ooh, Rhombus also gets it. If you suck up the Boo and then something else like a cloth, the game only registers that the last thing you sucked up was the cloth, and you'll skip a certain text. So you see Azul, he gets the Boo, and then Egad comes and talks to him. And so that right there saves. Text skips generally will save about 3 seconds, 3 to 5. Maybe even more if you get a really long text. Parlor Boo, that will save about 8 seconds if you get that text skip, because when you first catch a Boo, or when you catch the first Boo, that is the longest text you will get. And so Parlor Boo text skip, that will save a good amount of time, and really that's the difference between golding the split that they're on, which we call fire split. So that's the difference between getting a gold and losing 8 seconds. Alright, so now they're going back into storage. So these 2 rooms, storage and ballroom, you can actually set up what we call a Boo double. Neither runner, I don't think they're going for it, yeah. Neither runner will go for it, but if you manipulate the Boo to enter ballroom, and what you do is you check ballroom first, then you immediately go into storage, you check storage, and then you try to get storage Boo into ballroom. Then you suck up both Boos at the same time, only getting 1 text. So you're basically doing a text skip. And that will save some time, and a lot of runners, higher level runners will do that to save some time if they had a bad fire split, bad RNG, or just didn't get early release. And in some cases, if you're Joven, you'll do it during a race. All right, so both runners are knocking on the toilet. There's not really much of a difference. There's there are two kinds of LM runners. Do you knock on the toilet or do you vacuum the toilet? I personally vacuum it. But these guys, they both knocked on it. There's no time difference really. It's like 0.1 second of time difference, and that basically equates to nothing. The reason most people vacuum the toilet is to make sure they don't talk to Toad, which will lose a substantial amount of time. Alright, so this room right here, mirror room, has a strange gimmick. You can only see these ghosts in the mirror, and then, you have to figure out where they are to suck them up. Of course, we ignore that because we've played this so much, we already know where they're going to spawn, and we just set up the more doubles. These guys, we let them grab us, much like what they tried to do in bathroom. So we let them grab us, we shake them off in a certain direction, and then we try to suck up both, and that'll be a very nice double, honestly. And so now what we're seeing is actually what we call fire warp. So if you collect this boo and then collect the medallion after the boo, we'll save the game, we'll quit the game, and then we'll return back. That will save about 8 seconds, which is very nice. And it's nice for two reasons. One, we save 8 seconds automatically because we skip a lot of EGAD's text after we get that medallion. What it also does is it resets what we call the butler cycle. And what we're gonna see on a ClearlyAzul screen is that they're going down this hallway now, and they're going to try to light the butler's candles. That's the butler right there. And by resetting it, we can actually get early butler cycles. So if you do it really fast and very optimally, he'll be right at the end of the hallway, and you'll save seconds to, like, you could save seconds depending on where he is, honestly. And so the closer he is to the end of the hallway, the better that is, the more time we save. However, it's also much harder to do the butler cycle. And so the butler cycle consists of what we're seeing on Azul screen is clearing laundry room, while butler is going to his room, which is butler's room. We clear this room mainly to get an extra boo, and we won't lose time because we're doing it while the butler's trying to get to his room. Ooh, Azul, I don't know if Azul almost missed butler, but he still got it. It's very nice. Ooh, and Rhombus is getting hat skip. Okay, so after clearing it, if we collect one Mario's items or even a gem, you'll at like a certain frame or a certain few frames, you'll skip the chest spawning animation, which will save about 1 or 2 seconds, and it's really nice, honestly, and especially you need it if you get a really good butler, so if he's at the end of the hallway. All right, so Azul is going for a much safer hidden room. Alright, so hidden room, it's a completely optional room, but we need it for one of the boos. So we'll just spray fire and try to collect these guys in a quadruple. And we try to avoid the bats as well. What we saw on Azul's screen is that he sucked up the boo, and then he went into the mouse hole, which is how you enter the room. And you actually skip EGAD's text, and that's one of the Japanese exclusive text skips. Because you cannot do that in English or PAL. Alright, so both runners are did get a very nice butler cycle, actually. There were no mistakes really, except for maybe like hat skip, but that was it. Alright, so now they're going into melodies. and you just knock on all the instruments, and then Melody will show herself. She's on the piano right now with Azul, and she'll play 2 songs, or one of 2 songs. She'll either play a water theme from Super Mario Bros. Or the athletic theme from Super Mario Bros. 3. And there's not much difference. Maybe it's like half a second, because water will give you 1 less text box. As you see, ClearlyAzul actually got the water theme, so he got 1 less text box. Oh, and so did Rhombus actually. And in English, it doesn't save anything. They're both the exact same. The only nice thing about water is that you don't have to scroll through the little menu she gives. It's water, you can just keep mashing A and B. Ooh, we see our first poison mushroom. So on Azul's screen, they spawned a poison mushroom, and we want to avoid those at all costs. That's an instant 10-second time loss. Because if you hit it, or if you vacuum it up, it will shrink Luigi for 10 seconds, and you can't do anything but call Mario in a very hilarious and comedic voice. Alright, so they just passed through lugs. We ignore him because he's not important to our mission. Ooh, Rhombus having a little trouble. Okay, so with this, we simply we just clear kitchen. There's this elemental ghost like we saw in Hidden Room in the refrigerator. And we have to spray fire, and then we just suck him up. That's the only ghost in that room. Alright, so ClearlyAzul got not the best RNG in kitchen, but they did very well with it, with what they had. You can actually set up a text skip in this room. So if you pull off that tablecloth just enough, and then you suck up the boo, you have to drag it to the left side. You can actually get text skip by sucking up the cloth after the boo. Alright, so we see on Azul's screen, he's now sucking up Mr. Bones. And what we're seeing with Rhombus is how they're dealing with Spooky. So what we do is we let Spooky charge us twice, then bite us once. That way to make Mr. Bones spawn earlier, and to have Spooky in a good position to when they instantly show their heart. And that'll be pretty fast. We see Azul gets the graveyard double. You have 3 skeleton ghosts in the graveyard, and you can actually set up a double here. Let's see if Rhombus gets it. They do get it. It was a little slower though, because the skeleton ghost decided to not move in a favorable way. And that double right there will save at least like 4 seconds. But chat can correct me if I'm wrong. Alright, so we're seeing both runners going into Bogmire, the second area boss. This is probably the hardest boss to actually one cycle, or the hardest ghost to one cycle, really. Oh no! Okay, so the way you deal with Bogmire, you have to suck up these shadow monsters and spray them right back at him. The problem that Azul's facing is that they actually missed the first one, so that actually loses a good amount of time, because now Bogmire has despawned, and then they also got hit by the shadow again. These shadows can really make or break Bogmire, but Azul's really struggling with Bogmire here because of these shadows, because Bogmire's just dragging him into the shadows, and he's just breaking off. And that just gave Rhombus the lead. Yeah, Bogmire is very hard to one cycle. You need near perfect pumps, and you need great control. And if you lose control, you have to just hold back on the control stick and pray. Hold back, pray, and continue pumping. Pray that he will not break off. Alright, so they're now on to the second area cutscene. Let's check for some donations. We have 600 channel points from Haunted Blars with the caption channel points. I love you too, Haunted Blars. We got SpeedGaming saying good luck, and 600 channel points from A2Rhombus saying go Rhombus. That's what I like to see. I like to see high self-esteem. All right, so with Rhombus in the lead, she is now going into the third area. Now, the second area had a good bit of RNG in it, and this third area is more technical than the second area. It does have its fair share of RNG, but there's a good amount of technical time saves that you can actually get here. There are one really hard double that we might see, but I'll still explain even if we don't. Alright, Rhombus has fallen down a well for some reason, and what's happening? Alright, so Luigi's getting eaten by a lion in this weird room. I don't know it. Oh no. Oh no. Mario's in a painting. This is catastrophe. We need to do something, guys. We need to do something. Pound sign, save Mario. Alright, so yeah, Mario's in a painting. That's the whole thing in this game. I got Mario in a painting, and Luigi is here to save him. And so now we just go on our merry way. We don't do anything from the bottom of the well. We just go back to what we're doing. Very nice way of doing it by Luigi here. So yeah, we ignore most of Courtyard. We do collect one item, like we're seeing Azul here do, and that's Mario's letter. We do need all of Mario's items to progress through this area. And where Rhombus is right now is in Biff Atlas's room, and they collected this optional key. Their screen has frozen, and thus we don't really have audio. So I will make the sound effects if you all do so need me to. But they click this key. It's an optional key, and it saves a lot of time if we get it. So there's no reason to not get it. And so from there, we try to go into tea room. As we saw with ClearlyAzul, they shot water up through the floor to extinguish a fire on the door to tea room, and that saves about maybe 4 or 5 seconds, because then we don't have to wait for the smoke to dissipate. All right, so we got Luigi collecting the ice medallion here. This is the last elemental item, and thus the last time we have to talk to EGAD about strange elements. And then we collect Tea Room Boo. Now, Tea Room does have a tech skip that you can do, but it's very difficult to set up, or at least it's difficult to learn how to set up. And this Boo actually does have a tendency to leave, because you'll just grab onto a tablecloth like that, just like that. Oh, and he saves it, man. All right, so yeah, he saves it. That's very nice. He usually does go into Nana if you lose him. Well, I say usually. He only goes to Nana if you lose him. But if he goes into Nana, that doesn't lose too much time. It's just very inconvenient. And then you have to deal with Nana RNG a lot. All right, so now we're in Petunia, and Petunia does have a really strong pull. However, it's a small room, so if you know how to deal with her, you probably you'll one cycle her basically every time. I don't think I. All right, so now we're doing Nana. Nana, you have to shoot these yarn balls at her, and they all have a set path. However, we have what we call proper order, which is collecting the rightmost yarn ball, then the blue one, then the last yellow one. And if we do it right, they'll be really fast, only like 8 seconds to really just from entry to starting Nana suck up if we do it right. Alright, so I never explained this, but what Azul here is doing is R pumping. And R pumping is our way of collecting boos very quickly and very optimally. And so what happens is, what we do is we hold L and R at the same time, and then every 10 health for the boo, so if he goes from 100 to 90, we then release R and then quickly repress R. And what that will do is keep the boo in place. And we can only do that, we have to do that every 10 health, and we can only do it 15 times. Because every time we do it, the boo will cackle. And the boo only has 15 cackles before it must leave the room. And nothing will stop it. Nothing will go through its way. It will topple South American governments if it has to. Alright, Rhombus is back. I believe Rhombus is still in the lead. Alright, so we see in Astral Hall, Rhombus actually did the triple in Astral Hall, and Azul is opting for the double. Now, optimally, the triple only saves about half a second. Half a second to 2 seconds, really depends on how you do it. So if we're not comfortable with it, we will opt for the double. It's not really that hard. It's not really that big of a deal, honestly. Okay, so now we're coming up on one of the weirdest parts of this game. We see the moon, and Luigi's first instinct is to nuke it. And good job by Rhombus getting the moonshot. That is what we call. And yeah, we blow up the moon. Just we don't care about the tides or anything like that. We just blow up the moon. And Azul, I believe, is getting the moonshot. Yep. Losing it will lose you about 10 seconds, and that's really unoptimal, and nobody likes it. And what we get from it is Mario Star, which we will collect. Now this split's funny. Most people split when they shoot the moon. I split when I collect the star. It's very unorthodox and doesn't really give very accurate splits, but at this point I'm too lazy to actually change them. Alright, so after that we go down back to the first floor and we clear some other rooms that we couldn't clear beforehand. Alright, so they just Rhombus just crossed through billiards room. We ignore that because it's not important to us. What is important is projector room, which much like mirror room has a gimmick, where we can only see these ghosts through the shadow on the projector, but we don't care about that because we already know where they're gonna spawn. This room has a double, so we let one grab us, and then we shake them off towards the other one, and then we get a nice clean double. And then right here is a triple that we like to do as well. These guys, they will either, you know, let us suck them up very nicely, or they will like to go around everywhere. Much like what we saw with Rhombus, they did go everywhere, and like we're seeing with Azul, but not very much. Now there are two ways to actually proceed from the game from here. You can either do projection save and quit or billiards warp. Rhombus is doing billiards warp and thus making Pablo very angry right now. Somewhere in the Netherlands, Pablo is just rolling around on the ground, not knowing what's happening, but it's really because Rhombus did billiards warp. And Azul is also doing it. So, oh wait, no. Rhombus is actually doing projection save warp, so that just made Pablo very happy. Wide Pablo happy. And so that it saves about 2 seconds. And if you do animation skip, then you know that saves an additional 2 seconds. Which is nice, however, it's also hard to set up, so most people just go for the 2 seconds. So now they're in Area 1 hallway. So back in the hallway that we cleared in Area 1, we now return here during Area 3 to collect the boos and to do the twins. And the twins are not very fun, especially spawning them. We see Azul is having a little trouble with that. What you do is you spin that, I don't even know what that is. It's like ceiling toy, and you have to rotate it a certain amount of times for them to spawn. And then they'll play hide and seek like we're seeing on Rhombus' screen, and they'll be in the random boxes. The way you know which one they're in, if you spray some element or if you vacuum the boxes, they'll pop. They'll shake if they're in there, and if they don't shake, then they're not in there, and we just don't check those. And then we usually suck them up one by one. However, there's a very technical double in here, twins double, which is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest double to do in the game, even harder than soldier double, which we will see later on. It's where you get the fly. It's where you get Orville, or the flying twin first, and then the Henry, which is the car twin. And they are notorious for breaking off, or if not breaking off, doing it very unoptimally. Okay, so from that, oh, that's unfortunate for Azul. We get Mario Shoe from there, and as we saw with Azul, the twins Boo, he just left. He just said nope, and didn't even give Azul a chance, which is very unfortunate and makes me very sad personally. Because not only does it waste a little bit of time, it also messes up the read in Chauncey's room. Ooh, and we saw our first instance of, I think first instance of long text from Rhombus. So, so once we get to the Area 1 hallway, EGAD will try to give us information, very useless information for us at this point, when we capture a Boo. And the text, it's all RNG. We'll either get very short text or we'll get Vanguard text, which Vanguard text will lose about 6 seconds each time. Ooh, Azul having a little trouble with that Boo Bomb. That Boo Bomb has a very long hitbox, so if it looks like it's gone, it's not. Just avoid that. That area will now be a hazmat zone for the rest of the game. Just never enter that area ever again. Some report that Joven's world record run that the Boo Bomb area is still radioactive to this day. Okay, so they did do text skip in Lydia. Very easy to set up, and especially nice if to reduce the chances of getting Vanguard text. Okay, so now they are in Clairvoya. So once from Lydia's room, we go to Clairvoya, and we have a minute and a half of just straight mashing. There have been some runners who've gotten carpal tunnel, or like very light state, some tendinitis, sometimes even, just from this room in general. And it's, no one likes it. And it's honestly just the worst thing ever. I know a few runners who have gotten it, and I was so afraid of getting it one time. I just took a 4-day break, you know. Although, you know, I played some sports and worked in the yard that day, so that might have also contributed to it. But I wasn't taking any chances. All right, so Rhombus is now sucking up Clairvoya. Funny thing about Clairvoya, she does not have a pool at all. So if you could hold back the entire time, she's not going to, her health is not going to reduce. And so we just kind of spin the controller while we're sucking her up. Rhombus having a very nice Clairvoya room. No Vanguard text, which is really nice. First try Boo in best RNG. Unfortunately, Azul does not get really good RNG in this room. However, it's not completely bad as well. Alright, now we gotta make sure that they don't forget ice. Does Rhombus forget ice? No. No, she does not. So ice is important because we need it for the next room coming up. We have a few elemental ghosts that we need to spray ice at in order to, you know, be able to suck them up. So there have been a lot of times where people have forgotten ice and then they just lose 40 seconds from that. Rhombus getting a really good safari so far actually. They got that nice instant freeze. The first ghost in here is the hardest to instant freeze, so what we do is we spray ice before they spawn. Ooh, and a very nice wide double actually. But unfortunately despawning one of the garbage can ghosts, so they had to wait for them to spawn. So we did see the double from Rhombus. Will we see the double from Azul? Unfortunately, no. The garbage can ghost just despawns right. But oh no, they had it. They had the RNG double. So if you miss the double, what we do is we'll opt for to get the blue twirler first, and then the garbage can ghost will spawn, and we'll see if they spawn near each other in order to get a double. Alright, so but besides that, Azul had a pretty good safari. They got the Boo, they're all ready to face Spoolossus. And Rhombus here right now is entering the third area boss, which most people say is their least favorite. And there's good reason. It's just straight annoying. There's no sugarcoating it. This guy will end runs. He's kind of like the gatekeeper of Area 4. So we usually try to one-cycle this guy. He consists of 15 boos. And we need to pop him on the unicorn horns. Oh, having a little trouble there with the Rhombus. And then we try to shoot a ice shot at the boos. Rhombus's ice shot was very high actually. So they didn't get a very good ice shot. Oh no, they had it. So what will happen here, if we do it right, we'll shoot an ice shot and we'll get a very sizable amount of boos with that, if not all of them, and then we one-cycle the bots. Very nice way of doing it. Azul actually getting a pretty good ice shot, honestly. Only missing 3, and unfortunately, didn't suck up the boos fast enough in order to chase down the others. But still, 3 boos, or maybe it's 4, is not a big problem. What we do is we try to get them to charge at us. Okay, so it is 4 boos. And from that, we just spray ice, move out of the way, and vacuum them up. This last boo is giving Azul a bit of trouble, but they do just fine. Very experienced runners, so this is not new for them. They do have some hiccups, but they do improvise very well. Alright, so we're on to the last one of these cutscenes we'll actually see for the run. And yeah, they're both ready to face Area 4. Basically combining the RNG of Area 2 and the technicality of Area 3 into one monster area. Something tells me Rhombus isn't going to get 100%. Okay, so you saw that as Rhombus did pause the game before they went to Spoolossus. And what that does, what she did there was change into sidestep mode. It's a completely different way of moving around as Luigi in a dark room. And most runners do opt to do that during the blackout, which is what we're actually going to see next. and it just makes it easier to move around the blackout, because then we won't get, if done right, we won't get scared enough, or we won't get scared a lot, if not at all. And that'll save seconds off this split. And both runners did get fire. We do need fire in area 4, and so Azul opted to get the fire closer to the foyer, and Rhombus got it closer to to the attic stairs. All right, so now Rhombus is in the blackout, and we'll soon see Azul in the blackout as well. And the gimmick here is that ghosts spawn everywhere. All rooms that you cleared are now uncleared and with different ghosts. We just skip all that. We go directly to where we need to go, which is actually the Area 1 wardrobe, where a special ghost is Uncle Grimly. And Uncle Grimly is big on the RNG. He will show his heart randomly, but at any time. You can have Instagrim, which is where he will show his heart instantly when you walk into the door. Azul, or sorry, not Azul, Rhombus here getting a 1 second Uncle Grimly, which is very good. And Azul here will going to face Uncle Grimly right now. But Uncle Grimly, he can break a run. I've had, I think, a 20-second Grimly before, but the world record that we have for him so far is 48 seconds by the one and only HT Delta. That's just 48 seconds down the drain. There's no recovering from that in Area 4. Well, I mean, I guess you can, but it's definitely... Oh! Azul getting basically Instagram. It's like half a second, about. So thankfully we will not see any long Grimleys, which that just puts everyone in a bad mood, especially in a race, because then it's just... If they're ahead and then they become behind because of Uncle Grimly, that just sours the mood, man. Ooh, okay, Rhombus is getting the Cellar double. So Cellar here has 2 purple punchers. You can get a double with them, but it's actually deceptively hard. So Rhombus getting that is very nice. And one thing I did forget to mention is Breaker Boo. So we see Azul here just cleared Breaker Room, and there's a Boo in here that you can actually get. We can one cycle him even though he has 200 health. It's very difficult though, and many people don't do it in a run. Azul is also actually going for Cellar doubles with the poison mushroom right there by their back. Alright, so much like Rhombus, Azul is now going for Cellar Boo. We need this guy, but he's also notorious for leaving. And that's just because Cellar has a bunch of areas that have money in them, so if you check and hearts. So if you check that area while searching for the Boo, you'll have just gold bars and hearts bouncing around. And Luigi will do what's called auto-locking. He will prioritize money and health over boos and ghosts. And that right there will try to suck up a Boo, and then suddenly Luigi will face the exact opposite direction, or close to it, maybe about 90 degrees, and to suck up something else, and then the Boo will just leave. So if we lose him, depending on the health, we'll have to do the next section slightly differently, but not very much. It'll lose maybe I don't know, 2 seconds, 2 to 4. Alright, so both runners are going up to the attic once again, and Rhombus here is going to face the soldiers. this is where we might see soldier double, but more than likely we'll see two double or just a double. Or sorry, not double. Just three singles. Soldier double is where you can suck up the pink one, the pink soldier, and then suck up both the green and the blue at the same time. That'll save roughly 5 to 8 seconds, I believe, but I'm not completely sure on that. There is a trick we call soldier triple, which is not RTA viable at all. It is very difficult. Very few people have done it, and it's not. They don't even do it in a run because they've tried so many times. It's just one of those things like, hey, I once did soldier triple. Bask in my glory. But yeah, no one goes for that. That would just kill a lot of runs. Azul's having alright, so Azul's perfectly fine with the soldiers, but Rhombus is having a bit of trouble with the roof. One of the punchers here punched him. They had to wait. She had to wait for for them to respawn. But don't worry, she improvised just fine, and moving on the dandy way. With these guys, with the shy guys that you see with Azul screen, we just burn them. There is something called a Boston burn, invented by Westin Boo, where you burn them, get their attention, and then you try to suck them all up in a 6-piece. Not incredibly hard, but whether it saves time or not is up for debate. I don't think it does, though, unless you do it extremely optimally. Alright, so Rhombus is doing armory, and they did it in a slightly strange order, but nothing too weird. That is a poison mushroom, and nobody likes to see that. I really hope it doesn't hit them. Okay, I think they're okay. Yes. So the way we usually do it, you can see on Azul screen. We burn the gold ghost. We suck up the garbage can ghost. We take the purple puncher from the chest right there, and then we do the triple that we saw Rhombus do with the red grabber, the blue twirler, and the purple puncher, and we burn them to manipulate it. All right, so now, Azul just running out of fire. Oh, but missing the purple puncher, but it's perfectly fine. Ooh, okay. So Azul was did a great armory, and however, Rhombus here is having a little trouble with Armory Boo. So Armory Boo is one of 2 boos that we get with exactly 150 HP. At least Azul going for him right now. And so we need very nice R pumps here, because remember, he can only cackle 15 times, so that means exactly 150 health. So if we get 1 double cackle, which is where they cackle just twice, if we don't suck them up correctly, then they can leave the room prematurely. Azul here got a very nice Armory Boo, and so did save some time off of Rhombus. It's still a very close race, actually. One little mess up in the upcoming 2 rooms could definitely put one or the other ahead. Alright, so we see Rhombus here. Okay, she is having a bit of trouble with Pipe Room, because these grabbers are just not nice, honestly. We usually just freeze the lake, then freeze them, and go straight for the water spigot right there, or the pipe right there. And so what that does, it shows the chest. We don't have to clear the room at all to show the chest, so we just ignore these guys mainly, or we try to at least. They make it hard to ignore them. They're just so tension grabbing. Alright, so Azul did have a much cleaner pipe room than Rhombus, so they are gonna save some time there. But next is Westin. Westin is also up for debate on the hardest Portrait Ghost to one cycle. It's either Westin or Bogmire that's the hardest. Mainly because of the ice physics right here. Rhombus actually did a very nice job with Westin right there. Normally if we try to one cycle him, we try to get him stuck in the corner. But Rhombus did a great job actually getting really nice pumps throughout the room. Azul does the same. So that was very nice to see, honestly. Really a show of skill by both runners. Next is Westin Boo. This just like Armory Boo. It has 150 HP. Unfortunately, both runners are losing them. Rhombus had a lot of double cackles, and Azul did not get an ample chance to actually suck them up or try to get the Boo because they bonked on him. Azul does get the 2 cycle, and so does Rhombus. However, Azul did do it slightly faster, since Rhombus had a little trouble in Cellar because they just couldn't move. So now both runners are very close to each other, honestly. They are, I think, maybe 3-4 seconds apart. Maybe 5. So this is a very, very close race. So we're gonna see him go to the second to last room in the game, which this right here can make or break the race. So while they're walking up there, I think we have time for one donation. Do we have any donos? Apparently not. I think we need to save the animals, guys. What do you guys think? Alright, introducing paintings. Yes, the premise of this game is fine art. We turn ghosts into paintings, and this man makes paintings into ghosts. What an exceptional plotline. This right here is Van Gogh, and the plotline is actually pretty cool in this aspect, honestly, making whatever you can out of paint. But as we see here, he's now attacking us, and we have to get a series of triples. Rhombus does miss the gold triple, and thus putting Azul basically right slightly behind still, but by like half a second. Both getting the purple puncher triple. Next is the twirler. Both get it very nice. Azul does get it. Does get a much cleaner one. So now they are synced almost to the frame. Ooh, Azul has now taken the lead. Actually, a very slight lead. Oh no! Rhombus does miss the Shy Guy double. Oh, sorry, not double, triple. Because they accidentally sprayed some fire. So Azul got a good garbage can triple. I believe Rhombus will get a good one as well. And then the last triple, we just burn them because they have 0 HP and it's much faster to just burn them. And then we get to suck up Van Gogh. And he will give us the key to the final room in the game to finally face off and save Mario from his worst fear, art. Azul does get good RNG in Van Gogh's room with the Boo spawn. We'll see if Rhombus gets the same. Rhombus does get the same great RNG. Azul gets a fantastic first cycle of Van Gogh Boo. You cannot one cycle Van Gogh Boo because he has way too much health, but you can 2 cycle him. Rhombus also gets a fantastic first cycle. They are playing very close to each other right now. Unfortunately, Rhombus's Boo does seem to be a bit high, so they'll have to 3 cycle. Azul actually does miss the a 2-cycle, and because the Boo leaves at 0 HP, which is very unfortunate. Rhombus actually could have won 2-cycle the Boo, but they did bonk, unfortunately. Alright, Egad likes to talk about himself a little bit more right before Rhombus goes to the final boss. Very great race, honestly. It's a fantastic race here so far. We will see the final boss, which can still tip the tide. It's very close still. This is the difference between them right now is a 2-cycle or a 3-cycle. This is intense, guys. They are now going to face off against our mortal enemy, the one, the only. Drum roll, please. King Boo. Dun dun dun. So both runners are set to probably get a 101.5x because it's about 2 minutes. The boss fight will take about 2 minutes from entering the King Boo cutscene to finishing the boss with a 2-cycle. So we get sucked into the painting. What is this, Mario 64? Is this a crossover episode? But yeah, we get sucked into this arena in the fiery depths, and we have to fight. What is this, Bowser? Was Clairvoya correct this whole time? Nani? And so from here, we, as you see with Azul, they immediately take out their vacuum. And the way we deal with this boss is we have to catch one of these spike balls and then shoot it right back at Bowser. And as you can see, Bowser was just a puppet this whole time. The real enemy is still King Boo, and now we just have to. They have to pray to get a 2-cycle. Unfortunately, Rhombus did get burnt a little beforehand, so it's gonna be a little harder. Azul does get a great burst cycle. Okay, that's still 2-cycleable. So both runners can still get a 2-cycle. See if Azul gets it. If Azul gets it, they win. If they don't, then Rhombus can take it, can bring it back. And Azul is the winner of the race. GG's, everybody. GG. Oh no, and Rhombus does miss the 2-cycle, unfortunately. So this tag, Azul is the winner of the race, but Rhombus Rhombus was really putting a run for Rhombus's money. So alright, let's get this 3-cycle, boys. Easy 3-cycle. And there we go. Mark both the runners done. And let's see if we can get an interview from either of the runners. Again, this was a fantastic race, guys. Fantastic, a lot of skill. I'm gonna drop a GG in the chat. Alright, so whenever they're ready, they can just hop on in. Alright, so they haven't come up yet. Oh, they're okay. Azul's about to join. I don't know about Rhombus though. Alright, so I think Rhombus is trying to join. And Azul is ready to join as well. Alright, so Rhombus doesn't want an interview. Yo Azul, what's going on? GG's.
I was making sure I had my actual microphone, so my capture card again. I did that last time. I jumped into the interview for like 2 minutes and they couldn't hear anything I was saying.
oh man,
yeah.
that doesn't sound too good. But I'm glad we can hear you now.
Yeah, no, it's fun, man. It was a really good race. I thought at the beginning was really bad for me. Like I played really bad, like in the Bogmeyer split. Oh my god.
that made me so sad because he just kept pulling you into the ghosts, into the shadows.
It was so cringe. It was absolute cringe.
But then, man, you brought it back in Van Gore, man.
Yeah, no,
nice.
I did really good at the end there. Like the armory almost went really badly when I ran out of fire, like at the perfect moment too. I almost waited too long to do the triple, but all in all, it was a glad race. I was glad that we raced. Honestly, thought I was gonna lose because I'm out of practice. I've just been real busy, don't have a whole lot of time for it.
Yeah, you got really close to your PB, honestly.
Yeah, well, actually, my PB now is a 10033. I didn't have it recorded, so I couldn't submit it.
Okay. So this was an even closer race than I imagined.
Yeah, we were pretty evenly matched. Like when I looked at Rhombus's PB, it was a 100 something, and I was like, it's gonna be a pretty good match. Like I was really excited for it to be like really evenly matched.
Yeah, man. You guys basically played on par with each other in Area 3. Like what Rhombus did, you did as well. Everything was perfect, and everything was almost perfect in that thing, except maybe I think Safari gave a little trouble. But
yeah, Safari, it pulled me around a little bit too.
Yeah, that ice shot though, and that was great.
Rewatching the stream to see how close it was, because the whole time, like, I'm sure you know, like when you're in a race and you can't see the other player's screen far behind, you're so much farther ahead. So it's like so much more nerves.
Yeah, I do get that. When I was racing, yeah, I would just look back, but I never tried to like just look back on everything. I would just see, okay, this is where I am. Let's just bring it back.
Right, yeah, I couldn't, because don't get me wrong, I was mad at myself for some mistakes, but like you said, you just have to keep going. You gotta, because it's not like that's like PB attempts. You can't just reset and try again.
Yeah. Oh man, that Van Gore Boo, actually, that made me really sad.
Oh, I wanted to cry. Left on 0. I didn't know it was double cackling that much because my headphones are pretty bad and I can't really hear the game too well. But if I had known he was gonna leave that soon, I would have tried to act accordingly. But yeah, he left on 0. Broke my heart.
I think everyone's heart in the chat was broken at that point. You never like to see a Boo leave at 0.
I can imagine the rips and Fs.
Yeah.
So you just solo commentating on this one?
Yeah, so far. So I've had to speak a lot. But I think I got everything. I hope I was a funny commentator as well. Maybe I can get a recommendation.
Yep, you can put this on your resume.
Yeah. Dear future job, I commentated for SpeedGaming.
That is fantastic. But is there anything that you'd like to ask? Because I pretty much said everything I was going to say.
I don't think so. If you're ready, then we can wrap this up.
Absolutely. Everybody, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you watching by. Crazy 8 the Ace, take it over. I'm gonna hop out of here. See you.
All right. See you, man. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. It was a very exciting and close race. GG's to both runners. They showed a lot of skill during this race and got times that I really wish I had. So without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all in the next race.